Most guitar players don't struggle with note names because the guitar fretboard is hard. They struggle because they're memorizing it in the wrong way. And in this video, I'll show you a simple chunking trick that makes the neck feel organized super fast. And to do that, we need to look at the A string first, and we're going to break that down into chunks. The problem I've seen over the years is people starting at the head note and then trying to learn going up one fret at a time, like this. And what this does is it overwhelms you. It's not really the best way to do it because there's too much information, and what ends up happening is you end up staring at the neck lost. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at the A string, and that makes sense because the A string follows the musical alphabet naturally. So we start on the A here at the 0 fret just behind the head note, so that's just an open string. That's going to be the note A there. And if we press on the 2nd fret of that string, we get the note B. Now, half step up from that, or 1 fret, we get C. Now, I have a way to help you to remember that B and C and E and F are always next door to each other, and that is to use a little mnemonic, and this is B, C, bacon, crispy. It's how I like my breakfast in the morning. I like my bacon crispy. So this is going to be the basis of your first chunk. It goes A, B, C. Now what you need to do really to ingrain it in your brain is to say it as you play it. So we go A, B, C, and then do it backwards as well. C, B, A. If you've ever texted someone that wants you to go out with them, have you ever texted CBA? If you know what that means, put it in the comments below. C, B, A, B, C. Yes, we have a note in here, but we just need to know where the natural notes are for now. Now we've got the first chunk down, what we need to do is move up to the next chunk. And what we do is we move up 2 frets or a whole step to get to the D. Because if you remember, we go A, B, C, and the next letter we need is D. So we've got the D here as well. Now, here's a cool thing. If you notice, when we went from A to B, we went up a whole step or 2 frets, so 1, 2 frets. And then from B to C, it was a half step. Well, look what happens here when I go up from the D. I go up a whole step to get to the E, which is nice and easy because it's the same as going from A to B. That's a step. D to E is a whole step. And then we get E and F next door to each other again. So here, E, F, and this is back to that silly little saying, E and F are next to each other. Well, we just create a little mnemonic to help us to memorize that. Eggs fried. It's a breakfast thing again. I like a good breakfast. Eggs fried, eggs fried, eggs fried. So we've got D, E, F. So now we've conquered quite a bit of the neck here, guys. We've gone from A, B, C, D, E, F. What we've got to do is we've got to get the last note of the musical alphabet in here. We need the middle note between this F here and the A here. So we can go up a full step, and that gives us this G note here. Now this G note is all on its own. It's a lonely G note. And the reason we're calling it a lonely G note is because there's no notes next to it. There's not an F next door. There's not an A next door. We have to jump up a whole step or 2 frets at either side. Now the beautiful thing is if we go all the way to the 12th fret, we get the double dots, which is the fretboard repeating again. Because if you know this first 12 frets of the fretboard, by default, you already know whatever is further up as well in the dusty end. And that's a cool thing. So if this is A, B, C here, then this is going to be A, B, C here. If I move up a whole step, I get D, E, F. And then if I move up a step, I get to the lonely G. Now you might be saying, Ricky, why do I need to know these alphabet note names? And the reason is, this is where tab will let you down. You might play with tab and the thing that you use is numbers. But say somebody says play a C power chord, you would go A, B, C. I know that that C is there and it's always going to be there, and I know that my power chord is going to be there as well. Now, not only does this work with power chords, you can play the scale from here. So here is the C, and I'll play the Do, Re, Mi scale. Do, Re, Mi, Fa, Sol, La, Ti, Do. So there's the major scale. Let me do it in another position. So if somebody says we're in D major, I'd go A, B, C, D. Okay, so now I'm going to play my Do, Re, Mi major scale here. Do, Re, Mi, Fa, Sol, La, Ti, Do. And not only does this help me to know where to find my chords and my scales, but it's also useful for finding my key centers. So equally, if somebody says I'm in the key of D, I would know that it's the first chord in the key of D. This would be the second chord, and this would be the third chord, etc. So I can find my key centers and not get lost. This is one of the reasons why you need to know these notes on your A string. Now you understand how that works on the A string, we can transfer that idea to other strings. So let's look at the thick E string. I've already done a lesson on the E string, but let's just reinforce that. This is an E and this is an F. And like I said, those two notes are next door to each other. E, F. Now, if I want that G, remember that the G was all on its own. So if I move up to this third fret here, I move up a whole step or 2 frets, then I know I'm going to find the G there. Now, the G doesn't have any next door neighbor notes to it, so I know that I've reached the end of my musical alphabet. So now I have to go up to A, which is 2 frets higher or a whole step. Now I know that A, B, and C are together as my chunk. So I go A, B, C. Look, B and C are next door to each other. Bacon crispy, bacon crispy, A, B, C, A, B, C. So those notes are always going to be in that same spot. Now I know that if I go here, up a step, that gets me back onto my next chunk, which is going to give me D, E, F. D, E, and remember E and F are next door to each other. If you remember, the 12th fret is the repeat of the open head note. So I've got E, F, just like doing E and F down here, an octave lower. So the next part, you might be thinking to yourself, yeah, okay, get that, Ricky, it works across other strings. But what about these empty frets that we don't know what lives there? When we take a note and we move it up the neck, it becomes sharp. When we take a note and it goes down the neck, then it becomes flat. Let's look at that D note here that we had here. So remember we went A, B, C. Let's go up a whole step to a D. Now, if I move this note up this way towards the body of the guitar, then that there, I take the letter name and then I add symbol on. This is a sharp. It's not a hashtag. So this note here is a D sharp. Now, if you remember, my E was here. And if I move this down the fretboard, then what happens is this is an E, and I take this label with me, and I can call this an E flat as well. Hang on, Ricky, what are you saying? So some notes have 2 names? Yes, they do. That is called enharmonic equivalence. That's basically a posh fancy name for, you hear that sound, it can be called a D sharp, and it could be called an E flat as well. So if we look at the musical alphabet again from this perspective of A to B, we go A sharp, but we can also think about it as B flat. It has 2 names. So let's look at another gap that we have in the fretboard here. So there's C, there's D. So this here needs a label. This is a C. If I'm going to move it up the neck, then I go C, C sharp by moving it up there. And if I go to the D here and I move that note down, then I'm flattening that note because you can hear it going down. So that is going to be a D flat. I've already done this one here, but let's just do it again. D, sharp, E, flat. There's the E. E and F are next door to each other. Eggs fried, bacon crispy, don't forget that there. Then we have the G here. This is the lonely G. We've got the G flat there. That's F. We move it up a half step. We get F sharp. So you can see that the F sharp and the G flat are one and the same. Back to the G. This note here could be G sharp. But if I start on the 12th fret and flatten that note, which is an A, I get an A flat. So you'll see throughout this, what happens is we get 7 natural notes, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Then we go back to the beginning of the musical alphabet, A, B, C, D, E, F. That repeats again. But we also get 5 enharmonic equivalent notes. We get this one here, which is A sharp or B flat. Then we get this note here, which is C sharp or D flat. We get this note here, which is D sharp or E flat. We get E, F there just to help us to know where we are. We've got the G in the middle there. This is the one that we're looking for, and this is going to be F sharp or G flat. Then we jump a whole step to get to that other note, and you'll notice that this one is going to be a G sharp or an A flat. And that gives us 5 enharmonic equivalent notes. Now this is really useful because if you look at a piano, we get 7 white keys that are all naturals, and we get 5 black keys that are all enharmonic equivalent sharps and flats. So now you've got a better way to see the natural notes and the sharps and the flats, and also understand that this repeats on all 6 strings of the guitar, and hopefully that will make the guitar neck feel a little less random. But the real shortcut is being able to jump from one string to the next and finding the same note. And in this next video, I'll show you something I call the -5 or the +7 trick that makes that so much faster. Click that here.